Yo, guys, welcome back. Today we're updating our heal build on Where Winds Meet. I did previously release a video titled Fix Your Heal Build early on when the game released, which covered very basic healing mechanics, so refer to that as well for basic tips. But today we'll be getting into more of a endgame healing build that will for sure overheal and keep pretty much any group alive. We're breaking down the best martial arts, weapon synergy, mystic skills, inner arts, and gear choices for a top tier healing build. Plus, I'll be dropping progression tips along the way to help you get stronger faster. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. I would like to thank Rush and Ray for the build and gameplay, as she is the main healer for our guild and provided me with all the info and footage needed to put this together. She streams on Twitch. Link to her channel is in the description. Starting with our martial arts, we are going with the Panacea Fan and the Soul Shade Umbrella. Now, when it comes to these two martial arts, there's a lot of very important tips here in the martial art talent section. Now we'll start with the buff enhancement. The martial arts skill allows yourself and allies to deal 5% bonus damage against exhausted targets for 5 seconds when deployed with both Soul Shade Umbrella and the Fan. This increases the damage of mystic skills by 20% as well. You also get a min physical attack increase based on your agility, and this is very important because of the critical heal enhancement, which this increases the critical healing bonus of special skills by 5% and further increases it based on min physical attack up to 5%. So those two kind of work in synergy. And then your Silk Mine attribute up. This is going to increase your Silk Mine attack, also increases Silk Mine penetration. Now, this goes with the attribute attack. This deals bonus healing based on Silk Bind attack. So those are important things to keep in mind when we're looking at gear and stats later on, is going to be our Silk Bind attack and our physical attack. And here on our Fan, we're going to see some similar things. For example, max HP up is going to give us HP based on our defense. Then heavy attack healing boost. This is going to increase heavy attacks healing by 5% and further increase it based on minimum physical attack. Then once again, we have bonuses here to healing from our Silk Bind attack. So let's talk about the Fan and its skills. Cloudburst Healing is our AoE healing circle, which also generates dew. This also increases the damage of the group's mystic skills by 20%. This also benefits from Royal Remedy for a healing boost and extra dew restoration. Emerald Dew Touch is going to be our individual healing skill, but also a good dew generation skill. This is a good heal when your other heals are on cooldown. Light Dust after Morning Rain is our revival skill, but also another individual heal skill, which will heal the member of the group with the lowest HP. But when cast with a down group member, it will revive them and restore their HP, dependent on the amount of dew you have. This has a 30-second cooldown, and you could target the down teammate of your choice by clicking on their name in the group list. Now for the Soul Shade Umbrella, the first and most important skill is Floating Grace. This is a 15% increased damage buff for the party for 8 seconds and a very large heal for the party as well. Then we have Echo of 1,000 Plants. This is going to be on your umbrella. This is simply a cast and forget skill. You cast this, the umbrella floats above you, connecting to you, and also generating dew for you the entire time for 60 seconds. And this has a 60-second cooldown. This is actually going to pair with one of our inner arts, and it's very important. The inner art is going to take this cooldown to 1 second. And the reason this becomes important is because sometimes you have to drop the ability of this to be able to go and cast your Floating Grace. And having that 1 second cooldown will then allow you to recast Echoes of 1,000 Plants instantly. So this has 100% uptime when paired with the correct inner art. Then we have Pale Petal. This is going to extend the duration of the exhausted state on an enemy. Holding the skill also increases this duration. So when it comes to the umbrella and an enemy being in the exhausted state, two things are very important here. And it's going to be casting Floating Grace and then casting the Pale Petal. But there's something also important here with the Fan, and that is going to be getting out your Cloudburst Healing Circle, as this is going to give a damage bonus to mystic skills by 20%. Now for our inner ways, Morale Chant is going to increase healing. This also gives physical penetration, which increases the ability to heal with physical attacks. Royal Remedy increases the healing from the water clone and increases critical rate. Plus you gain 3 dew per heal. restoring blossom, critical heal stack, nurturing on the target for 6 seconds, and this increases their heals received. Then we have mending loom. This is going to put echoing grow to a 1-second cooldown, which will allow you to remove it, cast your damage buff, and then bring it back up. For the mystic skills, there's going to be 2 sets that I recommend. You could do Lion's Roar with the Toad. This is going to provide a debuff for the team, but you can also do Dragon's Breath with Drunken Poet if you have those leveled, as this does insane key damage. For your armor sets, you're going with Ivory Bloom for the critical healing at max HP, and you're basically always at max HP, and then the Whirl Snow armor set. For stats, you're looking for Silk Bind, physical resistance, critical rate, physical attack, precision rate, agility, and weapon damage boost. Now we're going to go over some tips to get stronger, faster, and utilize our resources as best as possible. And one of the best ways is going to be the tips exchange under Inner Ways. This is a way to then trade in the tips that you no longer want for a currency that's going to let you reroll on other ones that you do want. One thing to be aware of here, you can mark favorites here. You just scroll over something you want, like Morale Chant, and then you simply come over here to the top right, and it's going to be locked so you do not accidentally recycle that. So let's chart in these real quick, and then it's as simple as this. You purchase new sets, and it's a random roll of what you're going to get. Then there is the conversion, and what you do here is you simply pick 2 Inner Ways that you've invested in, and with this, you can flip-flop how much investment you've made in them. So for me, I have 37 in Sword Horizon and 42 in Sword Morph. So if I wanted to flip those around and move the 42 into Sword Horizon, you're able to do that with Convert Inner Way. Another thing to be aware of is that you can reset your investment as well in Inner Ways. And it's simply right here. You do a reset and it gives you back the tips that you've invested into that Inner Way. There is another reset, and that's going to be for our Mystic Arts. So if you feel like you've made some bad investments, you can reset the mats that you've used and get them back fully at 100%. This is free before level 61, so be aware before we hit breakthrough in a couple days, you want to do this. I have gone through and basically taken any of these mystic skills that I'm not using and just got everything back now. The only things I'm invested in are Dragon's Breath and Drunken Poet at this very moment. Another tip is going to be for tuning, and it seems to be that there's a way that you can kind of determine that you want to get an offensive stat, and the way to do this, specifically if you have a piece like this that's going to guarantee a epic piece for your gear, and then you want to take that and use that with a piece that's going to have an offensive stat on it here, like max Silk Bind, and it could be any offensive stat, and you simply tune, and this should get you an offensive stat. I've done this a bunch and it's always worked so far, but by a bunch I mean like probably 15 times. I only learned about this the other day. So I'm not sure if it's 100% yet, but just a little tip to go by, something I've been doing now that I'm aware of it. And last up is going to be our Divine Craft. We pretty much always want to use Toxic Powder. Toxic Powder is very important because this helps do key damage to the enemy, which is so important. Getting staggers and damage in staggers is a game changer on Where Winds Meet. And one tip here with the Toxic Powder, of course, make sure you've leveled up in your Divine Craft to level 2. That's as far as we can get right now. But something that I do when I know I'm going to be doing a bunch of fights is coming here into my settings and then going to game and scrolling down, and I'll put the auto use on so I don't have to use it throughout the fight. It'll automatically recoat my weapon with this when it runs out. But make sure you go to close when you're done doing raids or whatever, so you don't waste this on open world activities. And that covers everything for our updated heal build guide on Where Winds Meet. Any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'm also live daily on Twitch, so stopping by the chat is another great way to communicate with me. You can also find Russian Ray on Twitch. Her link will be in the description. She is the healing pro. I am not. We are also running a top guild on the game right now for PvE and some PvP, looking for more speedrunners, plus casual gamers to participate in guild activities. Requirements are keeping up with level caps and being active with our guild activities and keeping up with endgame builds. Link to my Twitch and Discord are in the description. Like and subscribe is appreciated. Thanks, guys. Peace.